Arcane Assist, War Machine, and Horde's Battle Reports.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 4 of Arcane Assist. We have Circle versus Khador here with Baldur 2 against Harkovich. I'm Evan, and this is Tim.
Hey, Tim. Yeah, if you guys are interested, follow us on Twitter, follow us on email, message us on email, really. Email us on email. I think that's still a thing you say. Check us out on Facebook, comment on the video below. We'd love some feedback on this. This is episode 4, you said, right, Evan? So we're just really jumping into this.
Yeah, and as always, you can find that in the description below the video. Now, Tim, do you think you're just about ready to hop into the lists here?
Yeah, let's talk about what we're playing today. So I'm playing Baldur 2. My battle group has Getorix, Woldrath, and Megalith, who are all great inclusions with him. I've got Stones with their command attachment, a unit of Stones without an attachment, and then a unit of Skinwalkers with the Alpha.
So, up here with Khador, Harkovich has a War Dog, Black Ivan, Behemoth, Ruin, a Decimator, and 2 Juggernauts.
You know, we're both bringing really big, tanky armies with tons of stuff in them. It's actually a really fun matchup. I've got a caster who has a feat that grants +3 armor for all of my stuff. And Evan, you have a caster who
has a feat that grants +3 armor for all of my stuff. Yeah, it's a bit of a grind.
It's actually a neat grind, though. We've played this game a couple of times here, so you'll see it hasn't always ended the same way, but the way it shakes out in this particular game, I'm excited about. So tell us about what you're doing here, Evan, what the unpacking's like.
So Harkovich got a new spell in Mark III. Well, the spell itself isn't new, but it's new to him. He got mobility, which he traded out escort for mobility, which I don't know. I think it's an upgrade overall.
Yeah, and he had Field Marshal Pathfinder, and now he doesn't really need it because mobility gives Pathfinder.
Yep. So instead of that, he has Field Marshal Reposition 3, which on Khador Jax is terrifying.
So we've got some Speed 6 Khador Jax running into the zone?
Yeah. Speed 6 Khador Jax that have Pathfinder that can reposition 3, which is a thing that's going to happen because a lot of them are range jacks, like Behemoth and Black Ivan can walk up 4, shoot 14 inches away, or walk up 6 even in this list, and then reposition 3 back, and it's just disgusting. So, yeah.
So Baldur is largely unchanged, although his Woldrath got a lot better. The Woldrath dropped Spell Ward for Sacred Ward, so you can cast Roots of the Earth on it every turn. Roots of the Earth still being his signature spell. It allows you to get +3 armor. You can't move. That includes being slammed, being placed, being pushed, like all of those things. But you also can't voluntarily move. So order of activations can be a bit tricky in this list. The Woldrath's gun got a little bit better too. It became AoE 5. So you see me taking a shot here at Ruin, which clips your War Dog, I think. Is that right, Evan?
Yeah, it clips the War Dog, and it's a POW 10 with the blast, right?
It's still a POW 7, or sorry, POW 8. POW 15 goes down to POW 8 with the blast, but then the AoE actually remains in play, and it's a POW 10 hazard if you enter it.
Right. Well, either way, you annihilate the War Dog, but I made the tough check.
Yeah, Tough's still really good on the War Dog. I mean, if he stays there, he's toast, but you're probably going to have to move him out of that blast.
Yeah, for sure. And, I mean, he's important in this list because he really helps Harkovich stay alive against those melee attacks. Not that Harkovich should really be in melee, but still.
He's pretty tanky with, he got, is it Iron Sentinel now?
Yeah, because he lost Escort, he gained Iron Sentinel, which says when he's base-to-base with one of his Warjacks, which is really easy to do with Reposition 3, as it turns out.
Yeah.
He gets +2 defense, +2 armor, and cannot be knocked down. So it goes to, I believe it's 17-18 or 16-18 at least.
17-19? Anyway, it's a really tanky stat line. You can tell how unsure we are about this because having played this game 3 times, we've never actually managed to get Harkovich into melee for long enough. We have to do all the math there.
Yeah, at least when he's base-to-base with the Jack.
And with the War Dog and like those buffs like that. He's just not, unlike a lot of War Machine casters, he's certainly not easy to assassinate.
Yeah.
I'm running up these Skinwalkers. The goal of the Skinwalkers in the list is basically to just kind of hold one of the zones, and one of the zones where I have to spread out a little bit. They don't have great damage potential, but they've got a lot of staying power. They kept 8 boxes. They have Hyper Regeneration. They lost Pathfinder natively, but got Relentless Charge. So that's why I had to lose some distance in the forest there. Megalith tramples for free because of Baldur. Baldur gets to let all his construct beasts make power attacks for free, and then Megalith Geomancy roots the earth onto Getorix. So Getorix is, behind a rock wall of Baldur's creation with spiny growth and roots the earth. He's pretty tanky right now, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, it's really solid. And I mean, I basically can't get to him right now. And even if I could, Ruin would need 8s to hit over the wall, which just isn't worth it. But here I'm going to move up Ruin. I'm going to cast Mobility so I can get Pathfinder through that forest in the bottom zone. I'm going to move Ruin up into a position where he threatens the Waldrath and Getorix, because it forces him to kill Ruin, or else he's going to lose Getorix almost guaranteed. And I'm pretty sure in the top zone that Behemoth and a Juggernaut can do some work on a Waldrath. It doesn't do as much work as I'd like, probably. I think my math was a bit off here.
Well, the math on... I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, Behemoth is dice -1 after you factor Roots the Earth. Because your armor piercing, POW 12 attacks. Mm-hmm. So my armor goes down to 10 and then up to 13 because you apply the order of operations to math and War Machine. And then, dice -1, you got potentially 5 attacks?
Yeah.
Maybe 4 plus a boosted one if you need to charge?
Yeah, and you probably need to charge here, I feel. Just because of how... Because with pre-measuring, you can stay you can stay far enough away that I can't walk in and make 5 armor-piercing attacks, because that just wouldn't be a good idea.
Yeah, I mean... That's something that hopefully I'm canny enough to avoid here. Yeah. We'll see in a sec. You're just moving that Decimator up. He's speed 6, so he gets to take some shots on stones, right?
Yeah, which is great, because with the Rate of Fire 2 gun, that POW 15, and a free boost from the power-up, he's definitely going to be able to take out at least 1 stone and put some damage points on the other one.
Yeah, because you killed a stone from one of the units. The UA no longer grants stealth. He grants prowl instead. So they don't have stealth right now, giving you basically one of the stones from the units. And then you did damage to the other stone in the triangle. I'm not sure if this is misplacement or I just have to give you these shots because you've got such good threat ranges. But, I mean, you take out 1 stone from each of the trios, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, and I mean, I think I'm going to get 1 from the unit a turn after another, either way with Black Ivan, just because he has such a big threat range. And I'm not sure the stones actually matter too much in this particular matchup on this board, because you're not behind a forest, and it's a greater threat range for you to charge anyway. Sure, it saves you the Fury, but it'd even be a greater threat range to just walk in. No, it wouldn't, I guess. 8 inches to... Yeah, math. But either way, you're well within charge range. Here, Behemoth's just powerful attacking some Skinwalkers off the table with his Bombards.
Those Bombards are crazy good now.
Yeah, Juggernaut.
I do get a little bit of threat versus walking, because I get to place 8 and then have reach for 10, and Getorix walks 6 and has reach for 8. But, I mean, I'm still better off charging if I need range. But, removing pieces are removing pieces. Those are stones that can contest late games, so... And just removing the triangulation is, a thing.
Here I'm just running the Juggernaut through the cloud, because he doesn't care about the POW 10, so that he can get base-to-base with Harkovich, so that I get that Iron Sentinel bonus.
And did you feat this turn, Evan?
I did. That's what the coin there is, actually.
Cool.
The feat for Harkovich not only gets +3 armor, like we discussed earlier, but he also allows my Jacks to charge and slam for free, and when they declare a run or charge, they get to make a ranged attack beforehand. Now,
right.
Yeah, in this particular game, I didn't make great use of the second part of that feat, because I wanted to clear things out beforehand. But the +3 armor is still going to affect everything. It's barely touching that Juggernaut in the top zone, and it's going to make things pretty difficult this turn for Tim to dislodge anything.
Yeah, I mean, this is a classic defensive feat. You just kind of have to do this because you don't really want to lose a bunch of pieces. And you're in both zones with at least 2 heavies, if not 3 in some cases. so you've got a good position to follow up on. The Skinwalkers, who are supposed to hold that zone readily for the entire game, are missing.
Yeah, Behemoth did a number on them as well as that Juggernaut. Like, it even kind of surprised me that Behemoth one-shot the Skinwalker UA just right off the hop.
The UA is only armor 16 unless he's engaged. So your dice -4. So with boosted damage on everything, 12 is slightly above average, but not even unimaginably so.
Yeah, I'm only dice off 2 because the Bombards are POW 14.
Right, of course, they're POW 14.
Yeah.
No, that's gonna murder him. I'm just placing a proxy base there. We're using the 5-inch AoE because it's very close. That's where the Wildrath's going to end up. So you can just do that in the game now. With complete pre-measuring, you can throw down proxy bases, leave them there, pick them up anytime you want. The 3 remaining Skinwalkers managed to charge in and get some damage on the Juggernaut here. I actually rolled super well with them.
Yeah, you did a ridiculous number on this Juggernaut. I believe it was something like 15 damage points. It was insane considering it was arm 23.
Yeah, I'm just going for charges because I want the bonus, and they should be there contesting anyway. But with Gang, they're POW 14. So the Wildrath charges. Again, Baldur's constructs get to charge for free, so he charges for free. And he hits, and he does the AoE 4 that knocks down Ruin. Pretty sure it's just Ruin he knocks down here.
Yep.
He does get just into that zone. If it's a little bit difficult to see with the nature of the mat, he's just towing that zone. And POW 19, dice -4 on Ruin.
Yeah. The Wildrath does a number on Ruin here. Doesn't quite kill him, if I remember correctly. I mean, he really shouldn't at dice -4, right?
Yeah, I boost both of them, and I did get a shot on Ruin before that did pretty good damage. It was dice -5 when I got a shot on him, and I think I did maybe 6 or 7 points. So he's just trying to put lots of damage in. If you haven't anticipated already from the movements I measured with Baldur already, I'm planning to defeat this turn.
Yeah, and as you can see there, Ruin survives. I think he has his fist and his Cortex left, maybe even a bit of his right arm there.
It's like 4 or 5 boxes.
Yeah, it's not a lot, but he's there. He's still in the zone.
Yeah, it's enough to say he's doing things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Getorix time. Getorix has got a nice lineup on Ruin. Obviously, I have to finish Ruin. And then I'm hoping to maybe get some damage on something else, too.
Yeah, because if you don't finish Ruin here, and you want a Spiny Growth, I can actually dispel it with the mace if I manage to hit.
And hitting Getorix without anything participating there is pretty easy. So Getorix has powerful charge still. Maybe he doesn't. Anyway, he hits a Khador Jack, that's for sure. I choose to charge the other Jack to get a good attack in with the axe and hopefully finish Ruin with the bite attack. I do a bit of damage on the charge here. Not a ton, but like a good chunk. And then the bite attack on Ruin actually doesn't finish him. I have to buy an attack on Ruin with the axe, but you gotta hope you get lucky for some of these things.
Yeah, and then with the axe attack, you take him off. I mean, the bite attack's POW 16?
This is a bit of a weird choice. Warping Strength, which I did warp Strength. Instead of choosing to buy more attacks on your Jack, I chose to Spiny Growth. I feel like Spiny Growth plus Roots of the Earth on the feet turn give Getorix a lot of staying power in that zone, and they're going to do more damage for me than 2 attacks that are dice -4, or 1 boosted damage attack at dice -4.
Yeah, I mean, and a Getorix that can't be knocked down, can't be made stationary, is defense 14 because he's a Warp Wolf, and then goes to arm 22. That shouldn't be a thing that you can do.
I did a cute thing here. I came up with the unit of stones that have 2 guys left plus the UA. The UA engaged the Decimator. Engaged the Decimator, and then he rock hammered him so he didn't suffer the target and melee penalty. Didn't get a crit knockdown, didn't end up doing really any damage, but it's worth throwing those dice around just to see if maybe you can stick a couple points of damage. The thing about a lot of games where people say, like, oh, you really diced me in that game, is they didn't really dice you. What they did is they took a lot of chances on spiking that you wouldn't have taken, and as a result got lucky a few times. This is me just obsessively playing with where I want to put this wall. You could argue that this is psychological intimidation, but I think I'm just really unsure of what I want to do with it. I'm trying to see if I want to protect those Skinwalkers, who are definitely not going to hold that zone, if I want to protect my Wildrath from Behemoth, or if I want to protect my Wildrath, or if I want to protect Getorix. You can see there's a problem here. I have a lot of pieces that are going to die.
It's hard in that There's definitely not a wrong place to put it, but there are too many right places.
That is a fact. So, I'm pretty sure this is the final answer. I believe that I chose to protect the Woldrath from the Juggernaut. I wanted to guarantee that only Behemoth could get on the Woldrath, who I feel like I've got enough dice that I should be okay with. And if the Juggernaut can't get in on me, I think I'm okay here.
Yeah. And that's safe. I think I go in with Behemoth here. I definitely go in with Behemoth. I don't know if I do it first or not, but he's gonna go into the Woldrath. It's something that I think just has to happen, and I'm mostly hoping that I can do enough damage that I stay in the back arc of the Woldrath, cripple something, and have Behemoth survive until the next turn, and then maybe he can get into Baldur the following turn.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget, even though it's my own Woldrath, I forget that, well, also it's a new rule. He has hyper regeneration now. So even if I crippled anything, really, he's going to hyper regenerate that back, and I'm going to just get creamed.
Yeah, I also have stones within an inch of him right now. I'm playing the stones for Serenity right now just as an extra Fury management technique. They can remove a Fury from a War Beast each, and I'm hoping to use that to manage Getorix's Fury and to manage the Woldrath's Fury and to prevent myself from kind of overwhelming a bit. But I don't... Like, he's also there for the healing field. Like, if it becomes relevant, just being able to heal D3 from a Woldrath can make a big difference.
Here I'm just scooting in the Juggernaut backwards because Skinwalkers have giant axes that don't make you want to bump up properly. But Juggernaut's just taking a couple swings here. I'm hoping he's going to dislodge some Skinwalkers, and he sure doesn't do that very well against, they go to 18, 21, 8 boxes.
Yeah, I mean, he's dice minus 2, but he does need to roll for 10s. Like, he's looking to... do 8 points of damage to each of the Skinwalkers. I find it really neat. So many things in the game had 8 boxes, and I felt like just died trivially. But now that a lot of those things have 5 boxes, the things with 8 boxes really stand out. And especially the Skinwalkers are on a really cool package with 8 boxes and the ability to kind of take a bit of punishment sometimes and then heal that damage back up. They're more resilient than I give them credit for.
Yeah, because they also gained hyper regeneration straight up as opposed to Blood Drinker, which they had before.
Yeah, I like it better this way. They really just... their role is very well cemented as cement.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And just to go back to your Serenity point, it's really good to do that just because he's... Not only is Baldur only Fury, 6, even though the constructs can't frenzy and kill your own stuff, just having that leftover Fury on them from the turn before and having them not able to do as much feels terrible.
It limits their impact in a really huge way. At this point, you're activating... Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up with where you're at, Evan.
So I just finished the Juggernaut. I just did the Decimator on Getorix. Didn't kill him. Did a decent amount of damage. I'm definitely going to need to put more into to do work. Harkovich is deciding whether or not he wants to hide behind a wall or, well, a house. Mostly because I'm worried about the Woldrath gun, because that thing is just... It's a POW 15 with a massive range. I do not want to get shot by it.
So you do cast mobility, and this is a moment where, in the actual game, I said... So you powerful shot with Behemoth, aim, and just shoot your Juggernaut in the back? And you were like, haha, of course not. But I thought that was a totally legitimate strategy to just try to dislodge some Skinwalkers and just try to remove them. You do send the Behemoth, should I say, in on the Woldrath, and you do pretty good damage. Like, you can see me marking it on my phone there. Like, that's a full aspect crippled, plus some more damage. I think you leave me on 24 of 58?
Something like that. I didn't cripple the body. That was one side of your body.
Right.
That was one of your 2 branches. But I do a really large amount of damage. And honestly, I did think you were joking when you said the Skinwalker thing. Because what? It's blast damage is POW 7.
Yep.
It's dice off 14?
That's not good. All right, maybe kill. I mean, the Skinwalker, the one there is on 2 boxes, but
Fair enough.
It maybe doesn't happen, and you end up shooting into melee. But with an aiming bonus, you're at 6.
Yeah.
You get boosted to hit. I'm defense 16, so you need 10s.
Mhm.
10s to hit. Maybe you kill me. Maybe you don't. Anyway, you go into the Woldwrath and you do a pretty impressive job on it,
Yeah.
and then you send this this Juggernaut and Black Ivan in on Getorix,
Yeah.
and you do an amazing amount of damage.
Yeah, so I figure there's no way I'm taking out the Woldwrath this turn. I have to kill Getorix. And I don't know what happened, but my dice just annihilated him. I think I crit Brutal with Black Ivan at least once there.
Yeah.
And then I had...
It may have even been twice.
Yeah.
Black Ivan's dice -6, but he gets to roll 4 dice.
Yeah, if he crits, he has critical brutal damage, which adds an additional die of damage, not boosted. So on the charge, if you crit, you're 4 dice damage with a heavy Warjack.
And just based on the dice -6 math, I think you actually chose to boost a crit brutal there. Like there was a good moment for it.
Yeah.
And I mean, you got a Juggernaut in there too, and there's the Decimator there, but you did really, really well against Getorix, and I'm a bit anxious. I don't really know what to do here.
Yeah, and again, back on that, Black Ivan may be deceiving. You might think he only has 1 melee attack. He can actually use his gun in melee with point blank.
Right, yeah. It becomes a melee attack, so it doesn't get the boosted attack roll, but it becomes Mat 7,
Yep.
which is great. And then it's an AoE 4 POW 14 that you just get to slam down.
Yeah, it's really good. And I think here, are you... Yeah, you're going to try to rock hammer me again.
Yeah, it worked so well last time. At least this time Rockhammer's only dice -6, so I've got a chance at least of doing a bit of damage.
Yeah.
Also, both stones are at the very edge of the zone, and he's in position to really, contest as respectably as possible. I did end up Serenitying for a point here, and I'm now really deciding what this turn's going to be about. I want a pressure scenario. I want to finish off the things that can kill the Woldwrath. And I'm just going to see if these Skinwalkers can be heroes again and do some damage to the Juggernaut. They do a little bit. It's definitely not the turn that they charged. But the Juggernaut's actually kind of beat up. He's maybe got 2/3 of his health left.
Yeah, he's not looking good. I think you take out one of the arms here. It's probably the axe. Also, just so we are quite clear, that wall isn't actually there. Tim just couldn't see it, so
Yeah.
he didn't upkeep it.
Yeah, that's something of a problem with the Colossals is just your field of vision is really limited. So Baldur went back up to his 6 and is using his full 6 with every intent of it. And then partway through the turn, we realized that there's a wall kind of right in front of the Woldwrath that was not supposed to be there anymore.
It's kind of like how the camera can't see Behemoth right now, except for those 2 cannons.
Yep, that is a very, very large Woldwrath. They look gorgeous on the table, and they sell the heck out of the game. I mean, they really are very cinematic, but there are some concerns in terms of playability. Here we are rolling dice in the tray. The other thing that I really appreciate about this turn is you get to really see the Woldwrath have its kind of control elements come into play. I mean, it used a fist on each of the jacks and knocked both of them down. I mean, that is a huge mat fixer for my army, just not needing to potentially miss.
Yeah, and it's really good on your turn. I actually forget with Harkovich, one of his spells is Jumpstart, so I can spend 1 Fury to stand all the Warjacks in my control area in my battle group that are knocked down up. I don't do that because I was too focused on how great mobility is. So I'm going to do a lot less than I want to.
So if we haven't pointed it out yet, but this is really important.
This
Baldur just charged into the other zone. He is Pathfinder. He charged across the wall, and he finishes the Juggernaut. He hits a bit above his class. Right now you can see there's 2 green beads next to him. He has 2 Devourer's Debt tokens. Those are worm tokens. They give him a damage for each of them at the end of his activation, but then he gets +1 strength for each one he has on them. He can clear all of them as a star action, which I did earlier this game, but I've been letting them accumulate for a couple turns. So now he's POW strength 16 with Weight of Stone on his melee attack, and he just cleared that zone and is now dominating it.
Yep.
Megalith comes over after the Woldwrath punched up Behemoth a bunch, and Megalith finishes the Woldwrath and gets to Geomancy Roots of the Earth. Or pardon me, Megalith finishes Behemoth and Geomancy's Roots of the Earth onto the Woldwrath.
Yeah, and that's great because even if Megalith doesn't kill Behemoth here, he makes him speed 1.
Yep.
So I can't even walk up to Baldur in the back and punch him.
Well, and doing so, you'd have to take a free strike from the Woldwrath.
Yeah.
Which is super bad.
Yeah. But even if I wanted to, I couldn't. Not to mention Behemoth's also knocked down right now.
Well, Behemoth is dead now. We pulled him off the table.
Yes. that is
So
fair.
he clears knockdown. That is a rule.
Yeah. Unfortunately here, the Decimator's out of my control area, so he doesn't power up. But I allocate 2, 3 to the Juggernaut, looks like here. And I keep 3 on Harkovich. Sorry, I allocated 1 to the Juggernaut and keep 4 on Harkovich. One of those is a power-up, because that's how this game works now.
Power-up is really relevant. I mean, it makes a huge difference. That Juggernaut's, got the focus it needs to do a lot of damage to the Woldrath right now.
Yeah, and I mean, I wouldn't take 6 Jacks if I didn't have power-up.
Absolutely not. No.
Yeah, that wouldn't work.
And Harkovich is such a powerful Jack caster. Being able to be a low-focus, powerful Jack caster is a really cool role in the game. And I'm glad that we get to play cool casters now. You can see there's a marker next to the clock. I'm on 2 control points from dominating that zone.
Yeah, so now I'm in the position where I have 2 models that can contest that zone, because the Juggernaut, the Black Ivan, the Decimator just cannot get around that Woldrath, and they don't have the power to take it out. They just can't. So I have to use my War Dog to get into that zone, and it just dies probably to 2 Skinwalkers and Balder, who is at the beginning of next turn going to go to POW 17.
Yep. With reach and weight of stone, like he's a bit of a melee monster.
Yep.
Your Juggernaut here is just buying attacks on the Woldrath. I think you're making the awkward decision of do you boost damage or not at dice -4. You elect not to. The Woldrath didn't get a healing field this turn because I had to reposition the stones, but he did get the hyper regeneration. So he was fully functional, and then you do a little bit more damage to him.
Yeah, and I mean, I wanted to pump some attacks out. I couldn't get to the other side of the zone. I didn't want to have to spend a focus to stand up, and I wanted to at least make some attacks. So I stood where I was and made some attacks. Not much else I could have done.
This shot I didn't see coming. Black Ivan has arcing fire. He just shot Balder in the back through the Woldrath.
Yep.
And I had to transfer this to Megalith, who is not fully loaded.
It also helps that Black Ivan's actually Harkovich's character Jack, and his bond is just, you get boosted attack rolls. Period.
Yep, which is really good. The Decimator getting some more damage in on Megalith. You didn't quite have range to get him to range on Balder, is that correct?
Yeah, I was out by a couple inches.
And then there's that cool gun with beatback.
Yeah.
Which you hit a second time with, and then, I mean...
I don't beat back the second time, though, because I wanted to broadsides this turn, another spell that Harkovich has that I haven't casted yet this game, which just says Warjacks in my battle group, or models in my battle group, just make a ranged attack out of activation, or in Harkovich's cases, in his activation, because he can make a hand cannon shot.
Yeah.
Which is also great with Black Ivan, because Black Ivan gets an out-of-activation boosted to hit ranged attack. Right,
because the boosted to hit just has a clause that says if he's in his control area.
Yep.
There's no rule about activation, and you can boost out of activation with a very particular circumstance.
Yeah. So I'm going to get a second shot on Balder here. It's not going to kill him, but I can hopefully put some more damage onto either the Woldrath or Megalith. And I can also take another shot with the Decimator and hopefully do more damage to Megalith. So here I'm just taking... You can't see Harkovich anymore because he's on the other side of that house. But he's taking a hand cannon shot at the Skinwalker, boosting damage, and kills it.
Leader model promote the remaining Skinwalker. Because there's no alpha left, he's now the unit commander. That was really important because you want me to not be able to trivially remove that dog contesting the zone. And that Skinwalker, they have Gang, which is useless if there's only one model left in the unit.
Yeah, which is super relevant because they go from Mat 8 to Mat 6, right? And they go from POW 14 to 12. I mean, that's not the part that matters for the War Dog. But...
So the top of my turn there, you saw I was just doing Bountiful Restoration. Balder healed for a couple because he's taking damage from the Worm tokens. Megalith healed for a couple because he took that transfer and a couple hits from the Devastator. Decimator? I'm going to have Decimator.
It's a Decimator.
Yeah. Khador Jax, I don't know. For some reason, they throw me off.
Well, that's because they all start with D and they're different words for explosions and shit, so...
That is a fact. So now I have to clear the zone. I have to do something with this. So lay down a proxy base, give you an angle on where the Skinwalker is going to go, do some homework moves, and attack it across a wall. So crazy high defense dog. I'm trying to hit it here. I hyper regenerate and don't hit the dog.
And I mean, that's not likely to happen anyway.
Again, it's you throw all the attacks that probably aren't going to work out, and then if one of them sticks, well, now you've got options. I expected to have to charge in with Balder. I'm trying to see if I can charge in and not have the wall preventing me from doing more work. The only risk here is Balder's now like going to be in walk and kill you range of Harkovich. I just have to be a tank, and it turns out that Balder's a Brock person. So.
Yeah, Balder has a lot lower defense for a Circle Caster, but not many other Circle Casters are armed 20 outside of Chromac.
Yeah, and that's what I do. I get the charge attack, I land it with my Power Strength 17 sword. The dog doesn't pass his tough check this time, and then I root to the earth myself and camp 4 transfers.
Yep, which is which is really good against a cast. Like the only thing that can get in here is Harkovich. I can make an arcing fire shot with Black Ivan again, but Harkovich only has 6 focus when he's making his melee attacks here.
Yep. There's that druid trying to throw rocks again. Does a couple of points of damage to Black Ivan, nothing super substantial. The Woolwrath is, he's deciding what to do with them. I teleport both stones. You can't quite see this behind the house, but both stones are now like in melee with Harkovich, and they're both like blocking his line of sight to Balder. So he's at least going to have to do some work before coming in and killing my caster.
I cannot charge Balder here because there's 2 rocks in my way, and I can't shoot him because they're base to base with no gap for me to shoot Balder. Not that that would be a good idea anyway.
Yeah. You have to basically walk around them, which you're quite capable of doing. The Woolwrath here just staying in the zone, repositions. We check to make sure he's out of the Decimator's melee range. He knocks down both jacks with his 2 melee initials and then just tries to do some work to them.
Yeah, and I mean, that's really here. It's just now I can't shoot Balder in the back with Black Ivan again because now he's engaged and there's no way he's getting free. I'm pretty sure you break his Cortex here too, so I can't even gain a focus, spend it to stand up, walk into melee range of you because I'm not within an inch right now. Yeah, there's Black Ivan's boxes. Just has his arms left. Not that he can use them. And the Juggernaut's not going to kill a Woolwrath alone.
Yeah, basically the Woolwrath is doing that thing you see in cartoons where you hold the person's head and then watch them sort of flail angrily, not being able to punch your body.
Essentially.
I got Megalith left to go. So now I'm sort of deciding what Megalith's options are. Megalith comes into here. Again, my motivation here is I want to lose as few pieces as possible. If Balder doesn't die, I don't want him to just sort of kill the Woolwrath and begin sort of creeping back up in terms of scenario and being able to run his jacks over there pretty quickly. So I want to just take options away from Evan and not lose anything myself, which it's a really grindy list, but that's sort of what it does best. So again, Megalith geomancies roots of the earth onto the Woolwrath, and now I've got a pretty tough, heavy, and a really tanky Colossal in the other zone when I dominate for 2 more points.
Yeah, and my options have literally just boiled down to, can I kill Balder? Because at this point, the Decimator can't get in range of Balder unless I activate Harkovich and mobility first, and that's just not the way of doing this. So instead what I do is I use the Decimator to walk into melee with Megalith and just try to take as much damage off him as possible so that when he transfers he might have a chance of killing Megalith, even though there's still a Woolwrath that's pretty okay for health here.
Yeah, I deliberately left both Megalith and the Woolwrath on 3 Fury, so they both have the ability to be transferred to. We're just correcting for where the movement should be because it's a speed 4 Khador Jack here. Megalith is where the proxy base is. It was just difficult with the positioning of the Woolwrath arms to put in there.
Yeah, he overhangs a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I often started when I'm building models these days, I'm really thinking about them in terms of, what are my options for making the model the most playable.
Yeah, and that's totally fair. I put the Woldrath together how the instructions told me to.
You fool.
I was wrong.
Yeah,
It was the poor choice.
The move at the end there was just a reposition 3 from the Decimator. I mean, you now threaten the zone on the next turn, but I think that's
assuming there is a next turn.
which presumably, if you don't kill Baldur here, that's a problem for you.
Yeah, so Harkovich is hitting Baldur with the Roboham.
Yep, it's a pretty cool Roboham. You're boosting damage, I think, because you're POW, 12? 14?
I am POW 14 against armor 20, so it's dice off 6, so I basically have to boost damage in order to do any damage to
At this
you.
point, from Worm tokens, Baldur had 9 health left, but I had transfers to save it. So that's the game.
Yep.
Baldur scores the final point in the zone, goes up to 5. And that's Harkovich versus Baldur 2.
Yep, pretty much. So the funny part about this match is that we've actually played this match 3 times now. This was the only time that Tim won.
Yep, no, that's absolutely correct.
Because the other 2 games, I actually figured out that the way I beat his list, at least this is how it's worked out thus far, is that I just get super aggressive, run my Jax as far up as possible so that he can't get charge bonuses on things, and then he just has to stand there and hit things. And then more or less 2 Juggernauts kill Getterix, and then the next turn one of them walks up to Baldur and axe to face.
Yep, that is a much better strategy than the one you employed in this game. And
Yeah.
This is actually a really fun matchup to play. I really enjoy it. I may try to play a couple more Baldur 2 games. He's probably a caster I'm going to be taking to tournaments in the future. I think he's really good. Let us know what you think. As I say, it's a matchup that could be perceived as really grindy, but actually ended up being really interesting.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the case for a lot of lists that are attrition-based going up against another attrition-based list.
Yeah, the nuance ends up being really important.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let us know what you think in the comments below. Send us a message. Like us on the things that you like people on or things on. I don't know. Anyway, check our stuff out and tell your friends.
Yep, and as always, you can find our contact information in the description below the video. Subscribe for more videos every week, and thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching Arcane Assist. If you enjoyed the video, please click the thumbs up right below, and if you didn't, the dislike button is right beside it. If you have any suggestions or comments, please let us know below the video, and remember to subscribe for more battle reports every week. You can also find us on Twitter and Facebook with the links in the description below. Until next time, we've been Arcane Assist.